Spears and Steinberg.
You know what the fuck it is?
Aries and Andy, Jew and the Jerk.
You know it's time to get this work.
The real raw, gutter, uncut cocaine. No political corrections.
Always sleep.
Fuck being awoke. We discuss politics and jokes.
Scribe, we lit.
There's levels to this shit. Before you was sucking on your mama's tit.
Aries Spears don't give a fuck.
We talk about race a lot, racism,
Sexism.
Much love to my loyal bitch bag holders.
Rollers, clip loaders.
We got them in the folders.
The whole world on our shoulders.
Spears and Steinberg.
Yeah.
Hello, Gobner.
Jesus.
Is that too powerful to the earphones?
Yeah, man.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to blow out your drums.
All right. It's all right. I had to turn you down anyway. I had you up too loud.
Sorry, folks. You've just come into the technical part of the Spears and Steinberg fucking podcast.
Yeah, I'm technical. I have a total of probably 12 buttons I can push.
First off, thank you. I said this before. Thank you to the person who told me to check out Kaleidoscope on Netflix with our man, Giancarlo Esposito.
Yeah, you don't get him.
Oh, no, we said he's Italian.
Yeah.
Esposito is.
I just said you only get half.
Why? Why? Because what do we say?
Because he's mixed. He's mixed.
Yeah, he's part black and part Italian.
Whatever he is.
Yeah. So what part do you get?
You just don't get the whole thing.
Oh, I get some of it. Well, you white folks always trying to keep niggas from getting what belongs to them. Y'all stay taking. All you do is take. Dude, for a minute, listen, the first time I watched this, I didn't really analyze why it's called Kaleidoscope. And then I started watching this with me lady. And she asked the question, why do they call it Kaleidoscope? And I didn't know this, but here's what fucked me up. The first time I watched it, like any series with Netflix, you have your episodes, one after the next, after the next, after the next, from beginning to end. And I remember I watched it based on that. And I noticed, they do the thing where they say this is the pink episode or the red episode or whatever color it is. But then they also say 2 weeks before the heist, 24 years before the heist, 5 days before the heist, the day of the heist, 6 months after the heist. So there's this like a confusing almost mix up. So then I want to say, when I started to rewatch this a second time, I noticed it was out of order.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? So I'm bugging because I'm going, wait a minute. I know when I originally watched this, it was this episode, then I remember this episode. Now when I re-downloaded it, it's different orders. So I looked up the word, I was so confused. I Googled Kaleidoscope Netflix. And they said that they purposely, basically, you could watch these in any sequence.
Any order.
And it still, as long as the last episode, you watch last.
No, you can watch the last episode
No,
first.
it said in the Google description, and for Netflix, it said Netflix #1 show right now is Kaleidoscope.
Yeah.
And when what they pointed out was part of the brilliance in storytelling is the fact, hence Kaleidoscope, which is a collage of images that once formed together makes this whatever beautiful picture, right?
Right.
So the point being,
colors, not pictures,
colors, but you could watch it out of sequence and it all still makes sense. But I remember it saying in the description, as long as you watch the actual episode that says the heist, you watch that last.
You can watch it in any time, but it changes it. But see, that's the whole point, is if you watch any episode in any order, it changes your perspective on the characters. That's the idea, that it's supposed to change your perspective.
Until I knew that, it was confusing the shit out of me. Were you confused or no?
No, because I knew what it was. I knew what it was
That's
about.
because it works to your mental capacity.
Yeah, it does.
Brain.
Everything's all over the place.
Right. Okay.
Everything's happening all at once.
And only in your brain at the end does it make sense.
Yeah. No, but like it's a story time. It's a similar way of Quentin Tarantino telling a story. He doesn't tell it in order. Well, in Pulp Fiction, especially.
Maybe Pulp Fiction, but everything else I've ever seen goes in order.
Yeah, for the most part. But he has those moments where he does the break. Wait, a lot of movies have had that where you go into the past, but this one is specifically designed to move your head around. And
just for the record, and I wrote, it says the proper way to watch based on colors is red first, then violet, then green, then blue, then yellow, orange, pink, and white. And white was the day of the heist. That's the last one. But it said officially that was the proper way to watch it. But it also said you could watch any way you want.
Yeah.
And it still be what it be. But technically, that's the proper way.
But if you watch them in different orders, you may have a different certain things become more important. You may like a character more or dislike a character more because of the order in which you watch it.
Right.
You know what? I thought it was interesting. It was a fun, and I'm not going to get too far, but because we're talking about the description, how to watch it,
right.
It's a lot of stuff happening, and but it's still coming to tell a story. It's a lot of extra
from the jump. Scale of 1 to 10, because I remember when I told you about it, and then I called you, and you were like, "Yeah, man, I'm watching Kaleidoscope." I go, "How far are you in?" And you said, "3rd episode or something." I go, "What do you think?" And you go, "Yo, I'm digging it." So now that you've seen the whole thing, scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the best, what do you give it?
Oh, it's not up there at all. I mean, it's not.
What do you give it?
It was good. I liked the people who were in it. I thought there was a decent story there. Probably a 7, 8, somewhere in there. 7.
Okay. So when you said at the time when you were like, "I'm digging it," did it fall off for you at some point?
No, I just, I liked it. I thought there was a story there. They were trying to tell a story in a different way. I felt that, and I was enjoying watching it. But when you get done with it, and how many hours is it total? It's like 7 hours.
It's 8 episodes, about 43 minutes an episode.
It's
less than 8 hours.
So 6 hours, 6 or 7 hours.
Right.
I thought that the oceans, especially the first Ocean 12 or Ocean's 11,
Ocean's 11.
Yeah, was a much better heist story than this one. I enjoyed it more with less hours.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Ocean's 11, though. That's a classic, though.
Well, I'm putting it in perspective, though, of what it is and why I would only give it that number. But when what they were trying now, if I have to take the artistic part in it and what they were trying to do, is it clever? Yeah, it's clever. But Quentin Tarantino, again, in Pulp Fiction, already has done this. But it would be interesting if Quentin Tarantino would re-release his, where he just cut it up and then you go, okay, watch it any way you want and see what happens. Right. Because his goes out of order and you have to try to figure it out because certain people are already dead and they're in the end of the movie.
If Quentin Tarantino did this, it would have been an 18-wheeler tank truck full of blood and about 147 niggas.
Well, it's not that bloody though. In the Quentin Tarantino, well, yeah, there's some good blood parts in there, but I think that Quentin Tarantino, the genius is that he leaves it more up to your brain to make it horrible, and your brain will make it horrible.
Right.
But he's already kind of done this, so I mean, in a different way.
Who is your favorite character in this of all the characters?
Of course.
Giancarlo?
Yeah.
Oh, put him aside. Who was your second favorite?
I like the girl.
Which girl?
The girl.
His daughter or?
No, the girl that's the girlfriend of the guy who's in prison with him. Here, I got their names.
The girlfriend?
The girl who's now dating the asshole.
Oh. Well, I don't know her name, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Bob was the asshole.
Yeah, and Bob was the one first.
The Australian asshole.
Yeah, and he was the first one to get killed in Suicide Squad.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, so let me see. So he's playing that same character in this, basically.
I'll tell you who was sexy to me, not necessarily a favorite character.
I know who's sexy in this. Let me see if we're the same. Let's see.
Go ahead. Well, we had to say it on 3. We'll both say the name on 3. The character name, right?
Wait, yeah. Let me get her name so that I can say.
The character name.
Yeah, let me get the name so that I won't fight, so that we either agree or disagree. Where is? Wait, which way? Not that. Ooh, wait, I was too far over.
You ain't talking about TT.
Yeah. Okay, I'm ready. Let's see. Let me have her. You want the character name?
Character name.
Okay.
On 3. Ready? Okay. 1, 2, 3. Ava.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Ava. And listen, from a physical standpoint, not really my cup of tea. She's more on the lean, thin side. but something about that, her attitude and that Spanish flair she had, because I wrote in my notes, is Ava sexy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She, you know what she is? This is, we were speaking of Pulp Fiction, the vampire movie with Quentin Tarantino. And what's the chick's name that's in that one?
The vampire movie?
Yeah, the one where they go to the bar and it's really...
From Dusk Till Dawn, Salma Hayek.
So she's an obtainable Salma Hayek.
You fucked that all up. You said Salma Hayek.
I said it wrong. But
like salmonella and kayak, nigga. Selma. No, now you see, your shit is contagious. Don't say nothing. Okay. Selma. Now you got me wanting to say Hayek. Oh my God, Andy, this shit.
See?
I've been slowly catching your virus for 2 fucking weeks. Cause that last episode, I had a lot of fucking Selma Hayek.
Yeah, there you go.
Selma Hayek. This nigga said Salma Hayek.
Dude, I say all kinds of words wrong.
Oh my God.
I just say if people go,
this nigga mixed kayak and salmonella.
People go, you talk so fast. No, I just talk fast enough that you don't really hear what I said. You know what I said, but you didn't hear what I said. Yeah. She's like, and I know I'm not trying to be. She's her own look, her own character, but I'm just saying, she was like. If those 2 women were sitting there, I could approach her.
Right.
You know, I'd go talk to her. But she was just as sexy to me. She had that. Dude, she had that vibe.
I'm jumping ahead here because you know what? In this right here, what we talking about, it's okay to jump ahead because that's the whole point.
Point of this, yeah. Right. We can go in any order.
Right. Here's what was so sexy to me, and it's why it crushed me when she got killed. When they established Giancarlo's character in the first episode, which again. To me, the first episode, when I originally watched it, was him in prison, the breakout.
Yeah.
And his hand was shaking. That's not arthritis, right? Why was his hand shaking? That's
Parkinson's.
Parkinson's. He was getting Parkinson's.
And I went Parkinson's like I had it. Parkinson's.
He's goddamn. Well, you make Michael J. Fox look normal, nigga. Yeah, he was getting early signs of Parkinson's. But later on, when they cut to after the whole heist went kaputs, and he started getting seizures. And that moment where he started shaking really violently and she helped lay him down on the bed. And I don't want to say that's an EpiPen because my son, when he was born, needed an EpiPen for a lot of his allergies. But whatever that pen was that she injected into his arm that got him back stable. And at that point, he also started walking with a cane. And it just, I love the relationship that was starting to develop between her and him. It was almost like they never really went there, but they hinted that it could have been a thing with them.
They were like always in love, but never went there.
They never went there. And then it felt like the more he started falling apart, she was there to take care of him. And she was going to be there to take care of him. And it kind of alluded to towards the end of it that they were becoming a thing. And it just, it got to me because, again, with this struggle with me trying to get back with my baby moms and my kids and all that, it's like, dude, you realize the older you get, what really, truly matters. I know that sounds corny or cliche, but it's like it puts into perspective that moment, seeing him go through that and her having his back, just it really makes you go, man, when you're in your 20s, you care about so much of the wrong shit. And when you get older, and maybe if you start breaking down, you just really realize how important it is to have a partner, to have somebody that is going to love you, but more importantly, take care of you if you need to be taken care of. God forbid and God willing, I never become the person that needs to be helped on and off the toilet, but that's what real love is. Somebody that will help you off and on the toilet if it comes to that.
When you talk about love, though, and you did what you just said about youth, how did you say it? I forgot what you just said.
You just care about the wrong shit.
But it's not just that you care about it. It's because it's your experience level. You want to experience when you're young. It's right to be in that headspace because you're young and you have only experienced so much. When you were a kid, the Baskin Robbins, 31 flavors. 31 flavors. Do you need 31 flavors today?
No.
But you did as a kid because you didn't experience those flavors.
Technically, I don't need no flavors today. Hello, type 2 diabetes just entered the chat. What the fuck is going on?
See, and if you notice, I've been getting better. It's like when it's like when you have a cold and you give that cold to someone, then
Right.
you don't have the cold anymore. Now
We're
have it.
trading places.
I'm giving it to you so that I can be better.
When you think of love. Right.
But that's what it is. It's your experience level too. You don't need it after you figure that out because of your experience.
Yeah.
Some people want to continue to experience more and more, and that's when people start to say you got to grow up sometime.
Right.
And that's really what it is, because when you're young, you're supposed to want to try what you can, what's available, what's out there. And like I said, 31 flavors. When I was a kid, man, how do I get to taste all these flavors? And now I'm an adult and I'm like, man, you could probably put 2 or 3 flavors in here and I'd be called 2 or 3 flavors.
Right.
I'd be okay with that.
Right,
As
right.
long as they were my 2 or 3 flavors.
Yeah, I just thought it was touching that it's like this dude is, he's got the Parkinson's. He's now having seizures. He's walking with a cane. And she seems to have his back. So that's why it hurt all the more when she got killed.
But real love isn't about loving the greatness of someone.
Yes, it's the worst of them.
Yeah, you got to love the worst of them.
I mean, they need a little of your greatness too. But
yeah, you have to have some of that. But I mean,
if
really,
it's just completely your worst, you Ike Turner.
But you do want someone to fall in love with your flaws, your problems. Not necessarily that's what your relationship is based on, but
Right.
they have to accept that as much as they accept the greatness of that person. Because if you don't, it's a superficial relationship.
Yes. When they needed the $300,000 to help, what's the word? That they needed to fund the bigger heist, to get gear and stuff like that. That diamond district that they shot in, that was actually where I went to go get fitted for my wedding ring. My baby mother took me down to the diamond district so I could get my finger size for a ring. And being from New York, I know that area really well. Dude, I keep saying this. It is my fucking dream to shoot a movie or something in the streets of New York. And I was just looking because that section, it's such a busy section. I'm just like, dude, anything shot in New York, you have to have a budget. Because to be able to shut the street down or the block down midday, so nothing but, regular pedestrians can't float through the scene, which is all extras. And that's always been fascinating to me. And I didn't really get that until I got older and got into business. I'm like, how the fuck do they shoot a scene where people are walking down the street in New York City and ain't nobody looking in the camera and doing shit they ain't supposed to do? Shut down the block, nothing but extras, and still make it look like a busy New York street.
That could have been shot at night, though, too, with just all those lights.
No.
Yeah, they can do all those lights. It looks just like a day shot.
No, dude, when they show the exterior, there's cabs and shit all in the...
You can just get cabs to run down it, or you can film that during the day and then add that sequence in.
Well, you know what? With CGI, ain't no telling what you can do now.
But they could also do it on a holiday.
When it's slower.
Yeah, or a Jewish holiday shuts down the Diamond District.
Oh, look at you.
Doesn't shut it down, but I mean, it's emptier.
Did you make the call?
Can you handle this for us?
Did you personally make the call?
No, but I mean, because of the extra holidays,
right?
You could shoot on those days, and it's later. But do you know how much you have to have in security to pay for security to be in to shoot on that day?
That's why I'm saying, dude. Like that's when you know you in some high profile shit. The budget has got to be serious.
Because that's where I got Tara's ring there.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I went into somebody that was recommended to me, and I went to their little office on the 3rd floor of one of those buildings, and you go in, and this dude just has little files of diamonds, just loose diamonds, just sitting around. I mean, he has millions of dollars in diamonds, and there's hundreds of these in that area. So you just got to imagine they couldn't have. You have to have security up the ass.
In the movies, I don't know why I'm asking you this like you know this, but you fucking GTA Andy, nigga. So you might know. If someone were to steal a shitload of diamonds or jewels and stones and rubies, like in the movies, they make it seem like you just go to a guy and he buys it off you. How easy is it to move some shit like that?
I have no idea, but it would just have to be someone that had a lot of money that was able to, because all those diamonds are certified. unless someone's dealing in illegal diamonds.
So when you say certified, like
they're all rated. They all have, I forgot what the name.
So
of
like how you look on like if somebody robs a bank, isn't there something on the money?
Yeah, but the diamonds don't have it. But they get the GIA something certification. So they're all like recorded. That doesn't mean that they can go and find every single one from them. But you know, if all these diamonds that you're missing come up and they're similar to these, I mean, it's going to attract attention. But I just think someone with a lot of money who can pay you 10 cents on the dollar, 20 cents on the dollar, and they can slowly get rid of diamonds. Yeah, why not? You have billions of dollars and you can slowly let that go away.
Wow.
I would think that's how you do it. I don't know.
Right.
But a fence has to have a lot of money.
Right.
Or they have to have someone that they know has a lot of money so that they can do that.
All right.
But I mean, what are you going to do with the bag? I wouldn't know what to do with the bag. I'd be arrested before I knew what to do with the bag of diamonds, trying to find some. Do you know anybody who wants diamond? I'd be killed. I'd be killed before.
Right. How much did you like or dislike the Bob character?
Bob, which one?
The Australian.
He's very funny. He's a funny character, but he's a dick, and he's a dick.
He's a dick, and he's slightly stupid.
And he's slightly stupid, but what happens to slightly stupid people is when they're dicks and they're tough guys, they pick on the weakest person because they don't want to fuck with someone that could fuck with them back.
A la him picking on Stan.
Yeah.
And incidentally, I know you didn't really watch the series, but Stan was the turncoat junkie / snitch from City on a Hill. The brother.
No, I've seen it. Yeah,
he's the brother.
Yeah.
He's the one that ratted on his brother to get him sent to jail.
Yeah, I wouldn't have picked that up until you said it. Now you said, yeah, I got it. Yeah, but he's
a good actor.
Really good.
Yeah.
He did a good job, but the character is someone that you can pick on him, and he did. So I that's the thing I don't like about that character, but that's important because they give you a reason not to like him.
And I loved when they went to go to the guy who talking about where would you go to unload some stones? When they went to go unload some jewelry to the one guy who I assume was Spanish because he was talking Spanish with Ava. Once he said, "I'll give you 300,000." And he goes, 300,000. I don't do a good Australian accent, but I know a bloke in Philly, mate, or something that'll give us $1 million. And then she spoke to him in Spanish, not to Bob, but to the guy she's dealing with. And she goes, "It's useless as tits on a nun." so it was like, and the guy even turned to Bob and goes, "Well, I guess you're just going to have to make this exchange with your bloke in Philly." Like, in other words, yo, shut the fuck up. This is over your head. And then he also, he stole a watch and was going to steal a statue. And it was just, Bob was just like a hooligan who did nickel and dime shit.
Well, and then Bob almost blows the beginning because he wants to steal that extra piece because it's a
butterfly. And he got shot in the hand.
And it's a butterfly. But so this is where they make the dumb people dumber. So he's the tough guy. He sees that butterfly. He knows that his girlfriend, likes the butterfly. So this became I'm going to get her the butterfly.
Right.
And you're like, oh, isn't that? And there's some people out there who go, oh, isn't that sweet?
Right.
But it's the stupidest thing that he can be doing.
Right.
At that moment. So but it develops the character because the way they're telling the story, you have to get all the character in each one of the stories so that you can tell the next story and they layer in together. But I thought they did a good job with him.
Right.
And they made him exactly who he needed to be.
Well, when I watched it, the first episode that I started out with was the episode, and I wrote it here, was when in prison. When Giancarlo is in prison and he bursts out of prison, of course, the whole point being to enact revenge on Roger for the death of his wife, being responsible for the death of his wife. But before we go there, let me get back to Stan. So remember when he asked Stan for the materials to help him break out, and Stan's whole thing was, I only got 6 months left, man. I'm not about, if I get caught, or if this traces back to me helping you get out, they'll tack on another 10 years. I'm not about to fuck that up for 6 months because to help you out. Cut to, he was in love with Bob's woman.
Well, it wasn't Bob's woman when he fell in love with her.
Right.
Okay.
And Stan didn't know that this dude is now fucking her. So Stan's whole thing was, fuck that. I'm not going to do anything to jeopardize me getting out in 6 months. And they even cut to the scene where Stan is saying to Giancarlo's character how he's going to propose to her. We're going to go to a ball game. I'm going to get a footlong. I'm going to have the ring on the footlong hot dog when she sees it. And even Giancarlo was like, you sure about this, dude? And once it became obvious that Bob is now fucking his love of his life, he decides, nah, nigga, bust me out. I'm getting out of here. Because he's like, yo, this big nigga, this big muscular Australian nigga is piping my bitch. I want out. The power of pussy. I'm telling you, man, listen, y'all, this has been a theme. Y'all have heard me say it on this podcast. Again, I know it sounds jokey. That's how powerful pussy is. The threat of this Australian, and this nigga's Australian and he's diesel, so his dick is probably as thick as a Foster's beer can. Foster's, Australian for beer. So that entered his head and he went, I'm going to risk these 10 years so that this man is not piping the love of my life. Women, y'all got a package, man. That whatever that is in between them legs y'all got, that shit is mwah. Ugh. That's powerful, man.
It's what wars are fought over.
Wars is fought over this shit, man. Dude, that fucking, hold up. And dude, this how I almost didn't get through the series because in that same opening, Stan is the cook in the prison.
Yeah.
And to burst everybody out, they needed a diversion. So he's good at, he was growing mushrooms in his garden. And he laced the oatmeal with mushrooms so all the prisoners during breakfast could go nuts and create a diversion. But when they first show him in the kitchen and the 3 white skinheads come in there and basically assault him because he's dealing with the blacks. He's selling the drugs to the blacks. And even the white Aryans are like, keep the money in the community, motherfucker. And they hit the nigga with the rolling pin and all that blood on the side of his face. My knees almost gave out, dude. And then when he cuts his own hand with the butcher knife, so he has a reason to go to the ER. Dude, I'm telling you, man, I think and the older I'm getting, it's getting worse. I'm telling you, the sight of blood and any kind of gore, dude, I feel I have to sit down. Dude,
the knife thing bothered me only because I cut my finger really bad as a kid. When I was cleaning and I was doing the dishes and I drug my finger across the knife and it just slit my thumb. And so that one I can feel. Anytime I see something like that, I'll feel that same feeling. But it doesn't bother me that way. What I really liked about that scene is the mushroom scene because since this was a Netflix and there's episodes, they were able to stay longer on all the guys going through their hallucinations on the mushrooms.
The dudes doing the butts to nuts shoulder massages.
Dude, that was so fucking funny. Dude, the whole scene when they first start feeling it, in the movies.
I'm wondering, hold up though, but do mushrooms really make you do that? Or was that for dramatic purposes?
Have you ever done? You've never done mushrooms?
I told you, no, I did mushrooms once. Okay. Remember I told you I had the 2 arcades in my house. Scottie Pippen.
Yeah. That's
and I told you that Scottie Pippen turned to me and said, "Dunk it now." Yeah.
I wrote like, I don't know how many pages of letters to everybody that had ever affected me, not good or bad. I wrote letters to everyone when I was on mushrooms. Yeah, I went back to my room and I was still just really tripping and I wrote letters to everybody. And then I read them the next day and they made no fucking sense whatsoever.
I would have loved to have read one of them letters.
I don't think they made any sense.
Dude, when we did the podcast and we talked about, what was that movie you wanted me to watch with your boy? What was the movie with Hey Yo Paulie?
Remember that movie? The Pope of Greenwich Village.
The Pope of Greenwich Village.
Such a great movie.
You got high off the edibles. And you just made, like, trying to watch you put it together was just horrendous. So I'm like, God, I could imagine you on mushrooms. Oh, man.
See, I think what happens in my head, like when I have a thought, it circles around and it has to connect with the other end of the thought. And when I'm on weed like that, they don't connect. It's just moving really slow. It takes a long time.
No, your thoughts are like sperm. There's a million of them that try to break through to the egg, and only one of them gets through.
Okay.
You know, it's
I'll take that one
you got a million right things to say, and just one of them maybe gets through. That's what it is.
I'll take that one too.
Yeah, your mind is one big cum.
My thoughts are
just imagine Andy's thoughts, like the same way
I have ejaculations of thought.
Okay, listen, it's the same dude who made that picture for me where I'm the Twinkie with the Tim boots and the hat. And I said, I got cream, son. What did you say? An ejaculation of thoughts?
Uh-huh.
Do me a favor. Draw a picture of like as many sperm as you can. The classic cartoon sperm with the tail. And each face is Andy's face on the sperm. So it's like 100,000 sperm Andys. And his face is on each one.
And it's just in a thought bubble above my head.
Yes. Complete with the beard, long beard. I want to see long bearded sperm with glasses. All right. You know, something that I never got that they kind of almost established when the three white dudes go in there to fuck with Stan and then Giancarlo comes in, they stand down.
Yeah.
Intimidated, like, okay, this is the one we don't fuck with. But they never established why.
Because he's Giancarlo.
All right.
That's all they're going to give you.
They didn't give us any reason as to why they stood down. Like, why is this dude to be feared like a badass?
Don't know, but they did.
That was a hole. And there were a couple holes in this.
Yeah,
I didn't get.
There are quite a few holes.
Because I was waiting at that moment to go, oh, shit. I already think Giancarlo is a badass motherfucker. So now we get to see why he's the shit in prison. And they never showed it.
Do you have any, just because you just brought up Giancarlo that way, do you have any particular scene where what makes him the baddest ass to you?
Any particular scene in this?
In any movie.
Dude, fucking Breaking Bad.
Which scene?
The character.
Dude.
That character he played in Breaking Bad, shit. And what was so scary about him, he didn't really say much.
No.
And when he did talk, it wasn't so much what he said, it was the demeanor and the look.
And the very ease.
That's the word.
But there's a scene where I know that he's the baddest person ever.
And Breaking Bad?
The scene where they blow him up finally and he comes walking out. And then you see only half of his face. So you think everything's okay. And then they go to the front shot. And then you see his whole face where half of his face has been blown off.
Right.
And that's when he grabs his tie and he pulls it up. And then he dies. I thought that moment right there, because he's always so put together, so perfect.
Right.
He gets blown up and he still fixes his tie. That's it. That, to me, man, I was like, that is the greatest.
You know, there are certain scenes and roles that you see certain actors in, and you just go, why not more of that? Like, I would love to see Giancarlo play, I don't know, I hate to say pimp, but somebody who's, you know, narcissistic in that way, ruthless.
A great politician could play that same part.
But he kind of was doing that a little bit in Godfather in Harlem as, what was the dude's name? Oh, God. What's the motherfucker? Y'all know who I'm talking about. Oh, Jesus. In Godfather in Harlem, he plays the politician. What's that nigga's name?
I cannot remember his name.
I know you can't. The seamen right now is all fighting each other for space to get out. Thurgood Marshall.
But
is it Thurgood Marshall? Look up Godfather Harlem, Giancarlo Esposito. He's playing a real life politician, but in that
Godfather of Harlem,
it's more. He's slick and conniving. He's a politician. He's full of shit. I'm talking about ruthless, mean. He'll cut your throat.
Adam Clayton
Powell.
There you go.
That's what Thurgood Marshall. All them goddamn politician niggas looking like. Yeah.
But that is the character. That if you wanted to do it that way, that any politician, but there should be a made up politician that you could really dig.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck if it's fact or fiction. Just like I said, when I saw Denzel as Frank Lucas, I wanted more of, like I said in the beginning of the movie, the dude is lit on fire and he pulls out the revolver, bang, 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 and shoots her. I wanted more of that. I wanted more of some street shit. I would love to see Giancarlo, just that character from Breaking Bad, but just, I couldn't get enough of that character, man. Dude, the FBI agent in this, the female FBI agent in this, her face is so punchable to me. I hate her. I hate this broad, man.
Hey, why did she bring that?
Her character, I wanted to see her fail so bad. I hated her character, dude.
I'm looking for her name, but I'm not going to find it in time.
I have never wished for Ronald Williams so badly to jump into a scene and do his magic.
Yeah, I can't find her. What did you think about his daughter? Giancarlo's daughter in it.
The grown version.
The grown version.
She was cool.
What was her name too, by the way?
She was cool. I gotta say though, the episode, and what episode is it? It's the Violet episode, episode 3, 24 years before the heist, where they explain why he's after Roger Salas. The little girl that plays his daughter, bravo, man. You still looking for the adult?
Yeah, I'm looking for both now. I don't like this app. Go ahead. Oh, there she is. Austin Fisher.
The big version or the little version?
Little version.
Okay. Yeah, dude. That moment where they establish in the beginning when she says, "Hey, I'm back from karate and I just got my new belt." He says, "Show me some of your moves." And he and her do that bonding thing.
Oh, yeah.
Where he goes, "Show me where you're brave." And she points to her heart. "Show me where you're strong." And she points to her mind. When they have that moment in the beginning, and then they cut to his wife having died, with him feeling like Roger could have helped, and he didn't.
Tatai Gabriel.
That's the little girl's name?
No, that's the adult's name.
Oh, okay. And then when he sees the police down the hall and he knows he's about to be taken away, and she's basically about to lose both. She's already lost her mother, but she's also now about to lose her father. And that's when Ava comes in. Of course, he says, "You see that lady down the hall? I want you to go with her, and I want you to do whatever she says." And he goes, "Let me zip you up." And as he gets on his knees and he's telling her this, she in that moment knows she has to be the brave one for him and herself. And she says to him, "Show me where you're brave. Show me where you're strong." That got me. That fucking got me.
Yeah.
I wept a little bit because it first of all, the father-daughter dynamic, that came into play. And of course, if you're a dad and you have a daughter, you see yourself and your daughter in that moment. But what was remarkable to me, and this is where I go, it almost is spooky, how like you go, as a child, you should be about keeping your innocence because you only get to be a child once. And I go, to be a child and to be an actor and to be able to capture like that moment when she walks away from her dad to go to Ava and the camera is on her and she's kind of walking in slow motion. They got the music, but you see the strength on her face. You see it in her face as she's walking. She went, "Yeah, I'm going to be strong and brave for myself and my dad." And I'm going, you would expect an adult to be able to process all of that and deliver that. For a kid to be able to do that, that's remarkable to me.
They say, and this is what I just heard this, that children
Can
are...
I have this water?
Yeah. Children are better actors.
Because they're honest?
Because they're honest, and it comes from a place without any of the bullshit in front of it. So they can do that.
Right.
But I it's like comedy. Everybody can be, not everybody, but most people can be funny. But then you have to learn how to tell a joke. And then after
structure.
And then after you learn and how to present
technique.
And then you have to learn how to not let
Timing.
anybody see any of that stuff.
Right.
And that takes you years to learn how to do that.
Right.
Then it takes you years how to get rid of the look of it so that you don't feel that anymore. You don't see that. So it sounds like a conversation again. Kids naturally come with it. They have an ability to portray these things because they're in their imagination stage. There's nothing that's in their way. And that's what I heard, that they're easy to work with. It's when people try to teach them.
There
and
can
tell them
also
how to
be
do things.
nightmares to work with. Hard to work with.
I'm sure that's true.
Right.
Did you work with any kids?
You know,
You don't have to talk bad about.
you don't get the irony
Yeah.
in what you just said.
Oh yeah. yeah. I do get it now.
Yeah. Yes, I have. I did a couple scenes, on Mad TV, where we work with kids. There never was.
That was so unintended, but it was so funny.
Right. No, I never had any nightmare stories, but again, just to capture a moment like that. And listen, I remember when I watched that great documentary about Steven Spielberg on HBO, and they showed him working with the little boy and Drew Barrymore when they were doing E.T. And there was this one moment where I think the boy's name was Elliot something, but he was trying to get an emotion out of him.
His character was Elliot.
And I forget exactly what Steven did, but even they pointed out there's a talent not just within the child, but within the director. It's the great coach and star relationship. If Phil Jackson, Steven Spielberg is a Phil Jackson type tier director / coach. And if that child is his Michael Jordan, as great as that child is, if that director is just as equally great, that's where the magic happens.
Yeah.
Especially if there's certain things that even as a talented child actor, the talent's there, but they may not be giving you what the scene needs without the proper direction.
Yeah, because they don't have the experience.
Right. So if you get somebody who can give you the proper direction and find a way to pull that out of you, that's even more special. And I noticed in the credits, Robert Townsend directed a few of these. And I know Robert, but he wasn't always the director. They had different directors, but he directed a few. And I would just be curious to know, not that who the director was, because that little girl was so great on her own. I have to imagine, though, some of that may have been her and the director. But either way, I just thought that was such a powerful moment. And then the way that Ava put her in her coat and then wrapped her coat around her so she couldn't look back.
Yeah.
And then they ended it on that. That was such a powerful fucking moment.
That
man.
was great.
Oh, goodness.
Do you think that's what makes Ron Howard a great director, is that he started off as a kid, as a child actor?
Yeah, I think the more experience you get, the more knowledge you have, and the more knowledge you have, the better you are.
So he can relate to anybody on the set.
Dude, did you know that fucking, what's her name? Dallas Bryce Howard is his fucking daughter?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Let me get to them yams. Yams, sweet yams. Sweet yams. Dude, she is thick as a motherfucker. I know you ain't never seen this. There's this thing on Instagram. That's why I sang that. Where I think I forget my man's name. Aaron Hall Aaron Hall studied this brother. You know who he is. Jam. Oh, Jam. That's Aaron Hall. But the singer I'm talking about, I can't remember this brother's name. Old school nigga. Man got pipes, yo. But what he would do is they would show really thick, voluptuous women. Ass, thighs, breasts, cleavage. And you would just see different pictures of these thick-bodied women. And he would hear him in the background going, let me get to them yams.
Yeah,
sweet. Yeah, you seen that?
Yeah.
And they did one on Dallas Bryce Howard. The bitch got yams, yo. I always thought she was hot.
She is hot.
She's hot as a... That broad does it for me. For those of you who don't know, she was the love interest in the Jurassic Park movies in the later versions with my man, what's his name? Chris Pratt.
Yeah, but that first one, the first one of the new episodes.
Right.
She looks great in that one.
Yes.
That one, she looks fun.
And she was also in the third Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire.
Is she in The Help? The movie The Help?
Yes. She's the bitch in The Help. I don't mean the bitch. She was a bitch in The Help, but I don't mean the bitch, even though I would normally say that's the bitch. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was the evil bitch to what's the black lady's character? Octavia Spencer.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Dallas Bryce Howard, let me get to them yams, nigga.
Dude, I remember when I first found out,
And that's Opie Cunningham's daughter.
I just looked at a picture of her trying to see if I could see him in it. And then I was like,
I do now.
you do now?
I do now.
I still really didn't see it. I was
You don't
like,
see it?
I was like, that must be the mom. That must be the mom.
God.
Have you ever, what's her name? I can't remember her name.
Give me clues.
I can't remember her name. It's a daughter of Clint Eastwood.
The daughter of Clint Eastwood.
Yeah, she's in movies.
I didn't know she had a daughter.
Yeah.
He had a daughter.
Yeah, look her up too.
Does she look like him?
No one, hopefully not. Jeez.
Well, his son looks just like
Yeah,
him.
but like the young version of him.
Right.
Yeah, there's a young version of him on a woman still isn't gonna.
You think Liv Tyler is hot?
I did in her young days,
Right.
like
Armageddon?
Yeah, Armageddon. Before that, the record store one, something records. There was a movie that she's in.
Something Records.
Yeah, it takes place at a record store. She was hot in that. What do you think though? She has.
She has,
the
more she looks like her dad, the more I'm like, nah, son.
She also has very big appendages.
What's that mean?
Her fingers, her hands are all real big,
Really?
real long, like long fingers.
Long or thick?
Long, like they're like it's like it. I don't want to say man hands but she just
Okay.
has very. Something trips me out when women have really big hands, and it just doesn't look right.
Really?
Yeah, look at it. If you ever look at her, she has really big. And Fox. What's Fox? Is it Fox? What's the chick that was in?
Give me clues. Just give me clues.
The Transformer movies.
Oh, Megan Fox.
Yeah, she has these weird little thumbs. I don't know.
I've seen that.
Hands for.
She got Vince Vaughn thumbs. You ever seen Vince Vaughn's thumbs?
No.
He got them shits where the nail and the tips look like teaspoons, nigga. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Charlie Barnett had
Yeah.
fingers like that.
Yeah. Charlie Barnett was weird though all the way around.
Yeah.
So it looked right on him to have something weird.
Right.
But like I guess if I would notice it on him, that would be weird. But on her, those little it's just I don't know why hands kind of freak me because you can't help but see them.
Right. Would it stop you from letting her jack you?
That little thumb would make it look bigger, so probably not.
Attaboy. Episode
Liv
Liv Tyler.
Her hand may scare me a little bit.
Yeah. Episode 3, Violet, 24 years before the heist. When, again, established. Yeah, same episode when they're establishing.
Could they have used some better, maybe CGI or something to make them look a little younger? There's something wrong with it.
White people don't know how to make black people look the way we're supposed to look in certain moments. This is why I'm telling you the importance of having black people in the makeup room and in the hair department when it's time for us to get done up. A lot of times, and I'm telling you, Andy, I've said this before from experience.
No, I love it.
They don't have black people. They have white people trying to make black hair come alive. And it's foreign to them. They don't know what to do with us. They just go glue 1,000 cotton balls together and paint it and put it on that nigga's head. He looked horrendous.
Right?
That nigga's shit looked like a mini Frederick Douglass. It's terrible, man. But in that same episode, when they're establishing what sent him to prison, they show him breaking into a safe along with Roger because they were a duo. And the person whose house they're breaking into is downstairs, intoxicated, dancing with the two women for the setup. But at one point, the owner of the house comes into the closet where they're breaking into the safe, and Giancarlo hides in the safe. And remember, when the guy finally leaves, he comes back and he's stuck in the safe until his partner helps to crowbar and push him out. And I just thought, because he later says to him, if that door had closed just an inch or two more, those locks, those bars lock into place and you would have been trapped. And I'm just going, can you think of a more horrific way to die? Look, like, I'm not really claustrophobic, but one of the scariest things I've ever thought about, imagine being one of my biggest, buried alive.
Yeah.
There was a movie with Ryan Reynolds where he's in a coffin and he's in the ground and he has his cell phone with only a couple of bars and he's trying to basically get out of this coffin. And I'm going, dude, you're in a coffin where at least, you're stretched out, right?
Yeah.
It's uncomfortable and as horrific as that would be. You're at least stretched out. To be in a safe where you're scrunched up and can't move, can't breathe, I'd rather you blow my brains out.
Yeah, you're just going to die in there.
Fuck that.
A coffin doesn't seem any better because, when you can't move or get to a place, everything starts to itch. Have you ever noticed that? Like,
of course.
And so you can't itch anything.
Right, you can't scratch nothing.
Oh, man, and then obviously the air goes away. But hopefully you get...
and then you got to start feeling cramps and pain.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Hopefully you get carbon dioxide poisoning and you pass out right away.
Where would you get that from? Inside?
Yeah, because you're using up the oxygen and you're emitting carbon dioxide, and that's what knocks you out. Hopefully that's
really
what kills you.
Oh, shit. I be hearing that type of shit, but I don't know if I be believing it.
That's like in a fire, all the oxygen gets burned out, and that's why those people die from carbon dioxide.
Really?
Before the fire ever burns them up.
Oh, okay, shit. And the moment where they go to pull off that big jewelry heist, and the dude sets the curtain on fire, and that whole moment happens. And the reason why Giancarlo is pissed and wants revenge against Roger is because he felt Roger had a chance to save his wife. And they even gave each other a look where Roger decided,
I can't
do it. The sirens, the cops are coming. I don't want to get caught. He attempts to want to help his wife, but he realizes it's either that or get caught. So he gives Giancarlo this last look like, sorry, man, and takes off. Is he really to blame?
Yeah.
So if you're Roger and it's either help save your wife or I'm gonna go to jail, you gonna risk going to jail?
He doesn't know that he's definitely going to jail. He went and got him out of retirement to come do this job. He didn't force him into it, but bugged him to do this. And the reason he got out of it is because all he cares about is his wife and his family. And you talk him into doing it, and you're right there, and the wife is there, and you got to be a stand-up person at that moment, and you got to take.
But they made it clear that the cops was coming.
Yeah, but he still might have been able to get away. He could have been.
Okay, so
I pulled her out of the fire, and the cops would have went, "Oh, thank God!" And then they would have been working.
Okay,
and
see, I didn't even think about
you
that.
disappear.
Also, he could have just said, I saw this woman and I didn't even think about that.
I saw this woman. I didn't hesitate. I ran into the fire. I got her out. And he would have been in his suit. He would have been in everything. And they would have probably just assumed that he was one of the people there. So fuck him. Yeah, he was supposed to do it.
Just know, Andy, if we're in a situation and I got to save your broad or go to jail, that bitch gone, man.
I'll take care of her.
Okay.
I'll get her.
All right.
She's light. She don't weigh much.
All right.
But you got to watch your wife. Then he leaves, watches him run away, and then has to see his wife die right there. Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I get the being upset, but to the level of revenge he wanted to enact, I don't know. Because I'm just like, dude, listen. Okay, yeah, you're right. I asked you to do this job, but at the same time, dude, it wasn't like he flat out said, I ain't helping her. He was going to help. But when it became clear the cops was on his ass, he was like, yo, man, go to jail. Like, you know what I mean?
You grab her. You make up a fucking another story. That's what they did.
He was white, so he probably could have got away with whatever he told.
See, that's the other thing.
See, right.
But he also had his tux on.
Why didn't Giancarlo just say that? Like, you're white. Help her. You're white. You'll get away.
I don't know what happened. This woman just pulled me into this fire. Right. I had to fight her off, knocked her out, and I brought her here.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, sir, please take our apologies and go home. Rest.
There you go. Then that's just how it happens, too. Let me see. Dude, when Ava decided to flip, I was sick to my stomach.
Yeah, but
to save TT.
But she doesn't really flip.
She does, though. She's the reason they kind of got caught or why shit went bad. Remember the undercover agent and the dude that's fucking her? She tipped them off on that last safe. Remember, her whole job was to let them know when they were doing the job.
Right.
But so she waited until the very last safe so that she could kind of not betray him, but at the same time do what she was supposed to do so TT didn't get deported.
Well, this is the whole point. Everybody betrays him at the end. Kind of. The dude in prison, what's his name, doesn't betray him.
Who? Stan?
Yeah.
No.
But everyone else does.
Well, I mean, when the whole thing goes bad, everybody can't trust everybody, you know?
Right.
And everybody's thinking everybody crossed everybody.
But Stan's allegiance was to his girl. Still, even afterwards, though. After
Pussy.
So,
and the power of it.
So maybe not betrayed, but everyone, kind of left him at that moment.
Right.
Including, and this is where you're going to get to here as we wind this down, including his daughter.
What do you mean?
Betrayed.
Because she didn't. Right.
She came up with her own plan.
Right. And then this bitch.
And see, but what I was going to say is,
why would she do that? Come on.
It ruined it for me because I'm going to tell you, when you watch this in the orders that you're watching,
right?
And they said you could watch it in any order you want. So I kind of,
I'm not sure I believe that now.
I kind of watched it in the order that I wanted to. Anyway, when I saw that, and I saw that the robbery happened,
right?
And I saw that she was there already in the morning, already with all those FedExes going. Right. I go, that's it. She's but I thought that Giancarlo was in on that. I thought that was part of Giancarlo's idea.
I thought she was in on it with him the whole time. Which is why, what do you call that? The piece that plugs into the computer? The little square piece.
The thumb drive?
The thumb drive. When she set that dude up.
Yeah, well, she did. She
set him up to make it look like he was the one that broke into the system.
Yeah.
I'm like, and that's early. She's in on the whole thing. That's his inside man.
But her reasoning is, you can't fuck over these three people that they're about to fuck over to take this money, because they don't let shit like that happen. So it was going to come back on her and him eventually anyway. So she took that out of his hands because he doesn't make the right decision. So she made that decision for him.
So $7 billion in bonds, and she don't keep a single thing. Shit.
Well, I'm sure she got her cut from, because
did she?
She had to have somewhere.
No, because she, remember, again, they repeated the show me where you're strong, show me where you're brave. When after the heist, she goes, I'm not like you.
Yeah.
So I'm not taking this money.
But they got to clean up their money. They got to wash their money. They got to say that they got paid for losing all that from the insurance company. And they still got to keep their $70 billion in bonds.
Yeah, but the whole point of the heist for them, for the crew,
was to make money. But she doesn't get any kickback though for this.
They didn't say that.
How do you not?
But they even alluded to. She was like, I want no part of it.
Okay,
I'm not like you.
Then she got no part of it. But that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So get dad some money. So
you know what I mean?
So he can take care of his Parkinson's on the way out.
Goodness gracious.
Yeah, I knew that. The person that they don't explain to the very end, and then you know who she is. Well, not to the very end. You know who she is the other girl that she gets the job at the with the company.
The Asian chick.
Yeah, the Asian chick. You don't know who.
Were they lesbians?
No,
because she had to. Well, no, she was already pregnant by another dude.
She's
her sister.
Her sister,
right? Adopted.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's how you. That's that. In, but so overall,
well, before we get to that, another hole that didn't make sense to me. The episode before the last one, which I think is they're in New York or something. Maybe this is even Central Park. Remember when he walks under the bridge?
Yeah.
You hear the gunshot. They fade out. Did he get shot? Because I'm thinking in the last episode, they're going to explain that. They never explain that.
Yeah, I think he gets shot.
Well, you hear the gunshot, but the way they you don't see it because they blur out of it just before you hear the gunshot. So you don't see him get shot, but you hear the gunshot. So then they show the last episode, he's clearly alive. So what happened there?
Somehow, eventually he gets taken out.
Yeah, that didn't make sense to me. I thought they would explain that.
I'm not 100% on this one. Explain it to us if you guys seen this and we're missing it. But did you like it overall?
Yes, I did.
So you take your 6 hours versus a 2.5 hour or 2 hour Ocean's 11.
I don't choose one over the other in that regard.
Okay.
Because if it's good shit, it's good shit.
It was good. I just can't put it up there. But I like that they tried to tell a story in a different way. That part was entertaining to me. That part is entertaining to me. But did it? My question is: did it elevate the art form of movies?
Storytelling
And storytelling. Did the way they told the story?
You know, my biggest thing I'm curious to know is if other people watch this, are they watching it in the sequence they want to watch it, or are they watching it in the sequence that's presented to them? And if it's one or the other, what does that change for in their opinion?
I'm going to wait until I
because I felt like, I'm sorry, but it felt like you had to watch this in some certain kind of sequence. Like if you were to watch,
check it out.
If you had watched the actual Day of the Heist episode, then you go to the very first episode, which to me again was showing him in prison. That's weird to me. Because you see everything that unfolds without knowing anything about any of the characters.
Yeah, but I think movies have done that before, where you start off a movie with this big scene and something that goes wrong, and then they take you to different parts of their life. It makes it. I'm going to wait till I don't know the movie. Well, until it's kind of more out of my head. I'm going to watch it again.
Here's what makes total sense to me. Now, again, when you watch this, the third episode, the way it was downloaded, was when they go 24 years before the heist, and they show how he ended up in prison and why his relationship is what it is with his daughter. Let's say you watch that episode first. Then the second episode you watch is him in prison breaking out. That totally makes sense to me. Or if you flip that, I'm fine with that too. But again, if you watch the very last episode where you see the heist and what the day of the heist and how it all goes to shit, but you don't see the episodes where you're learning who the characters are, then how do you invest emotionally?
Because you saw this heist and you don't know what's happening. Now you're trying to figure out what happened and how it came together. And then you go back and you watch all these chapters to develop life. I think it's going to be interesting. I'm going to watch, but this is my hard part. This is the hard part for me. For everything that you just said, is it worth another 6 hours to me to watch it in a different order so that I can experience this in a different way?
No, not like that.
Well, then I don't know that it's a really a worthwhile adventure.
It's a worthwhile adventure once. But that's why when you said we're gonna talk about this, I was like, I gotta watch this again. It was good, but I gotta watch this again.
You should have watched it in a different order and see if it would have made a difference.
But I still seen it. I know what's coming. The thrill for this is not knowing what's coming. Like for anything that you watch that's good, you don't know what's around the corner. And that's the ride. That's the roller coaster. Oh shit, turn. Oh shit, deep drop. Oh shit, loop. You don't know what's coming till it comes. But if you've already ridden the ride, you know, oh, this is the turn. Oh, this is the dip. Uh-oh, here comes the loop. So it's not the same.
That's true and not true. Because if you can see something in a different order that makes you see something in a different way or in a better way, then it's worthwhile to you. It's like sex. You know what's going to happen.
You know what I saw on the internet that was interesting on Instagram? You've been to Disneyland, right?
Yeah.
You ever ridden Magic Mountain?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the roller coaster in the dark.
Yeah.
They showed the roller coaster with the lights on.
Not scary?
And that's what I'm saying. I'm sure if you got on it, you'd still, whoa, woo. But with the lights on, something's missing now. You're taking a main component.
Because you can prepare for it.
You can prepare for it.
Yeah. Did you know they got rid of the log ride?
Did they?
That log ride because it's like built on Antebellum South.
So what does that mean?
It's from a racist time period where the log ride, that log ride that they have where you come down. Yeah. It's the way that it's structured and the log and the whole timing of it. They took it out. They said it's back to a time period that they want to remove.
Wait a minute. I'm trying to understand the racial component. You said it's built
from the idea of it is the Antebellum South and the whole little the Disney's whole time period where it came about is
right.
It's considered that Walt Disney might have not been the most
Oh, that's always been known. He's
Yeah.
a little racist.
So
get rid of the whole goddamn park.
no, they got rid of the themes that have this denote this racist ideas.
Really?
The log ride. Somebody bought the log ride though.
But the log ride, meaning what? It's like, I'm still trying to understand the association.
Hey, let me see if I can find it for you. So, because I'm not
Like, is this some disastrous story? Like niggas was cut open and was ridden in by white people in a log.
They were logs. They were
Yeah,
black
niggas was
people.
logs. Like, what is
The removal of Disney's log ride. Let's see if they have it on there. Disney World and Disneyland removed the popular ride, plan a new one. Why is the log ride closed? Why did they get rid of the log ride? There it is. The plans, theme, attraction, the changes came after concerns were raised about the racial stereotypes in the song of the South. That's what it came from.
Oh, the song that they play.
Which inspired the current version, according to Disney, and the company has been working on a change since last year. So no overturning some real legitimate problems, but we're going to get rid of this log ride in Disneyland. Kudos to them if they feel that's not.
They should ask black people first.
That's it.
Ask us first. Well, let us decide what's worth not or worth not having based on our level of enjoyment.
They come up with a list of 100 things, and the top. But what needs to be changed, and then you put those in order.
Yeah, let us be on the board of directors. You know what I mean? Let us decide. I like the log ride. I like it. It's dark. I get wet at the drop at the end.
A picture gets taken as we're
screaming. Yeah, we keep that one. You know what I mean? Let us decide.
The song of the South, I get, but change the song.
Yeah, man. Have Flo Rida or Pitbull or some Southern nigga come up with some shit. Yeah, let us decide and put it together. All right, folks. It's called Kaleidoscope on Netflix. Check it out. Giancarlo Esposito. It's a great ride. When you ask that question, 2 hours versus 6, I have to put it in man food idea. Ocean's 11, 2-hour movie. That's like getting a great burger that you eat right then and there, start to finish, suck on your fingers, you're done. Kaleidoscope is like a great meal that you put in the fridge and you warm up later, or eat in increments whenever you want.
But it's been in the refrigerator.
But it's gonna be good when you heat that motherfucker up.
It's good, but it's been in the refrigerator.
Yeah.
I what I like about it, I wish they would have taken more advantage of it, is like the scene, like I said, they're fucked up and they're in the prison scene where they're all fucked up. And they made that very funny, more funnier than it is normally in a movie when they're using something that's been done before.
Right.
But they really went and they took it to another level, made it even funnier. When you have that kind of time to play with, I think those things are good. The scene, though, the robbery scene in the Diamond District, that was a really good scene. They put that together really well, especially for a budget.
I'm glad you brought that back up. But let me ask you, realistically, as busy as New York City is,
it's not going to happen.
Right. The minute the smoke bombs went off, cops don't show up like immediately.
If you put a smoke bomb,
the smoke bombs, the robbery, the gunshots. Yo, the cops, come on, man.
If you did that, especially in that area, one, because there's tons of police, and they know they try. I did like that they try to show you how they're identifying all the the secret police that are in the area. So they did go through an idea that they're going to do it. But if you have some kind of explosion in New York City anywhere, it's not going to be a regular police that's showing up. It's a SWAT team that's coming out to put out whatever it is. And frankly, I guess this is the only way that I don't think that they're worried about innocent bystanders at that moment. They're worried about getting it under control before another bomb goes off, because we're not talking about maybe 2 or 3 people. We're going to talk about hundreds of thousands, thousands of people that could be injured. So yeah, I don't think you're pulling that off for real.
Let me talk about 2 more real quick movie cliches that caught me. The scene, of course, where they break into the vault, and the whole thing is, the vault gets flooded, which is allowing them to break in. How many more movies do we have to see where somebody holds their breath for an unrealistic, ridiculous amount of time in water. And your heart's racing with adrenaline.
Yeah.
So your breathing is, come on, man.
Some people some people can slow that down. They have like it's 7 minutes or something is the record right now.
So everybody holds the record?
No, that isn't though.
We see that so many times in movies where somebody has to do a scene where they're underwater trying to accomplish something in a life or death situation. And I'm like, really?
I'll tell you the one that bothered me is that the police show up, and then they said, well, then how about open up your safe? It never occurred to him to open up and check his safe after the other 2 safes were broken into and that one's still closed. Right. You're not going to want at least to go,
right.
Let me double check this one real quick.
Right.
Because I have the keys and the ability to open up real quick.
Right.
I'm not going to open it up real quick.
Gotcha. Here's another one. When they go to the getaway house after the shit has gone haywire, the safe house, and Giancarlo is walking up the steps, tries to open the door with the keys, but his hands are fucked up. So he drops the keys, and then he also has a bag of groceries. Who the fuck in 2023 puts their groceries in brown paper bags? No one uses brown paper bags anymore. That is such a movie cliche look they hold on to.
They shop at Trader Joe's.
Nah, but Trader Joe's gives you Trader Joe bags. This is straight 1970s, 80s brown paper bag groceries.
Yeah.
Look, Hollywood just goes, yo, certain cliches, I guess they just go, it just looks good on camera. 90% of the time, the bags you get at grocery stores now are plastic. Or bring your own with a handle.
Okay, 2 things that I want to say.
Brown paper fucking bags.
I don't want to forget this, so go back to the brown paper bag, but I want to remember this. Isn't it the Australian dude, though, that kills Giancarlo at the end because he lived and he thinks that he was betrayed by everyone?
No, but remember they show Bob get shot out with the police in the shootout. Remember? He gets killed in the sand.
Yeah.
At the Crab Shack place.
Yeah.
Yeah, so no.
All right.
Couldn't have been Bob.
Explain this to us because I either forgot or and I had an idea, but I have no idea right now. But the other thing is, just because I want to say this. So I was a bag boy at Alpha Beta, which became Abco and then became something else. And I had a manager and I saw those bags, those plastic bags, because you said it was 80s that everybody still had those brown paper bags. So I went and I think I was in California. I don't know where I was. I was in some other state and I saw these and I brought one of the plastic bags back and I went to my manager, you know, I'm a young kid, man. I'm in high school and I'm looking up at this guy like he's an adult. He wears a suit. He's a businessman. He works at a grocery store, but he's a business guy. Right. I said, I was at, they have these new bags and I wanted to bring them here because I thought you guys would want to know about these as soon as possible because I mean, this seems like I was like, this must be the new thing that's going to, it's never going to work. And let me tell you why. And he sat me down and told me all the reasons why these bags weren't going to happen. And then it became like the bag that everybody used all the way until we filled up the ocean was so full of bags that they got rid of the bags completely. Anyway, and when we're talking about being young and experience and then love and experience, this is why you have to experience so much, because if I would have listened to these bullshit guys that wore ties my whole life, they had a job at the grocery store, and nothing wrong with being the manager of a grocery store. Mm-hmm. But to tell some kid, yeah, you're an idiot. These aren't ever going to catch on. And now you're the guy. I don't know what he retired. He probably retired from Abco. He's probably has a nice salary living in an apartment somewhere in Florida.
I just hate the fact that we're doing this to ourselves. Now when you go to the grocery store, it's like they got you really. It's like there's 10. I don't even know why they're keeping them now. There's 10.
Some of the stores have gotten rid of them.
Okay, there's 10. What do you call them?
Check stands.
Check stands. Only one is ever being used.
One or two at the most.
One or two at the most. And you're doing you're checking your own shit. You're bagging your own shit. You're scanning your own shit. What the fuck, man?
On the first and the second, they have 2 or 3 open. First of every month.
Why is that?
It's when you get your EBT money back in. So the grocery store is packed. So they have them for that day. The other days, it's all the self-checkout. And now there's a line at self-checkout. So now you got to stand in line to check yourself out. Here's what I hate even worse about the self-checkout. Here's what I don't like. This is the thing, and I'm writing a joke about this. Don't fucking write my joke. Why every time I do anything now, anything service related, do I have to take a survey? I get surveys every time I fly in a plane, a train, anything, whatever I'm doing, I get back a survey. I'm working for more people than I've ever worked for in my whole life.
They want to know what it is you think so they can fill that gap so that they don't have to hire people.
Exactly. It's all, and when you buy anything online, everybody wants, I have to review everybody. If I buy anything online, you buy something on Amazon, you got to review your I'm putting more work into this convenience. Nothing's convenient anymore because I have more work to do. It's more inconvenient to be convenient.
Here's what's scary to me. And I think Warren Buffett said, if you don't find a way to make money in your sleep, you're going to work till you die. And then with that being said, someone else said, some other rich mogul said, unless you have side hustles, you are always one firing away from homelessness.
Yeah.
And it's just like, if you're the common man, if you are the common man that works a 9 to 5, with the way shit's going, it's inevitable. You're in trouble. You're in trouble.
You know, this, the pandemic is as tough as everything is right now. And I know we have inflation, we have everything. This was the best thing for poor people and for minorities.
And the worst thing for poor people.
No, I think it's going to end up being the best thing because everybody figured out how to do something with their nothing. Rich people with money or people that had business, they had to figure out how to save these businesses until this ended. That's what they worked on 24 hours a day. All these other people came up with ways to make money, hustle, something to make some more money. And they found that's why they haven't been able to hire enough people, is because why would I go to this 40-hour-a-week job, which is basically not money that I can actually afford to live on, when I can do a job, a hustle that I can make as much money, or maybe I have to have 2 hustles, but I'll make as much money as I'm doing that and I still have my life. And I'm not working for somebody. There's a change here that's coming up, and it's really going to affect people. It's going to affect you. You did say it, or negatively. It's either going to affect you extremely net positive or extremely negative. I don't think there's a middle ground on this one.
Give out some dates because we gotta move on to the next thing. If you want to email into the pod, it's ariesspears45 at Hotmail, baby. ARIESSPEARS 45 at Hotmail, baby. Not baby, but just Hotmail.
You should put baby on yours. That'd be good. Hotmail, baby. All right, here we go. You're listening to this, and we're going to be in one of Aries' favorite places while you're listening to it this weekend.
I'm doing it low so you can still talk.
That's okay. Thank you. The Miami Improv. We're going to be out there March 24th through the 26th. Then try to do something more Latin flavor. For March 30th through April 2nd, we're going to be at the LOL in San Antonio, Texas.
Damn, I wish I knew how to.
Do the guns. April 6th to the 8th, we'll be at the Funny Bone in Columbus, Ohio. April 27th to the 30th, we'll be at the Improv in Arlington, Texas. May 5th through the 7th, we're going to be at the Improv in Cleveland, Ohio.
Just a bit outside Cleveland.
And hey, we haven't been back here in a while. May 25th to the 28th, we're going to be at the Helium in Portland, Oregon. Followed up by June 1st to the 3rd, we're going to be at Cobb's in San Francisco, California. How's that?
San Francisco.
And then once you get that San Francisco part of you, you can head over to June 9th to the 11th. We'll be at the Pittsburgh Improv, so we can get the other side of that.
Yes.
Lunch pail, hard hat people.
Yeah. Okay. See you guys. That's right.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. Hey, also make sure that you go on to our Apple and rate this as a number 5, like 5-star, whatever you do for Uber or Lyft after you ride with them. Take that extra time, please. If you can fill out these surveys from all these other companies, can you just tell them we do a good job so that we can get up in the algorithm so that maybe we can do a little better.
There it is.
Spears and Steinberg.
Thanks for listening to the Spears and Steinberg podcast. If you'd like to know who's responsible for this shit, it was hosted by Aries Spears and Andy Steinberg, produced by Steve Merrick and Anthony Holmes, executive producer, Big Papa, Robert Kelly, and Matt Kleinschmidt for the Laugh Button podcast. For more information on where to find us on the internet, visit spearsburgpod.com.